My wife's trainer challenged me without knowing my past in the special forces. I made him find out the hard way. He couldn't breathe. Tyler was flexing in front of the gym mirror when I walked in, checking his reflection with that self-satisfied smirk only someone in their 20s can pull off. "You must be the husband," he said without looking away from his own image, arms raised, biceps bulging, admiring himself. "Melissa talks about you all the time." I didn't respond, just headed to the bench press area in the back corner, started untying my work boots, steel-toed Wolverines, heavy, covered in concrete dust. I'd come straight from the construction site, hadn't even changed. "She says you've gotten soft lately." His voice got louder, making sure people could hear, "that you don't satisfy her anymore. Not in the gym, not in bed, nowhere that matters." The weights stopped clanking. Treadmills kept running, but people slowed down. Ellipticals went quiet, heads turning, phones coming out. Always happens when there's potential drama. People can't resist. Tyler loved it. This was his stage, his moment, his audience. 20 people watching, waiting. I told her real men take what they want. Don't ask permission. Don't wait around. He took a step closer, chest out, arms flexed, tank top showing every muscle. "And I want her. What are you going to do about it, old man?" I finished untying my first boot, set it carefully beside the bench, started on the second one, slow, methodical, no rush. "Hit me? Please, try it." He laughed, loud, performative. "I'll drop you in 5 seconds, maybe less." I bench 320, squat 450. "What do you do? Push papers? Sit in an office all day?" I stood up slowly, straightened to my full height, 6 feet, about 185 pounds. Not big, not impressive. Gray in my beard, 43 years old, wearing dusty jeans and a faded t-shirt. Tyler was 28, maybe 6'2", 215 pounds of pure muscle, ripped abs visible through his compression shirt, arms like tree trunks, veins popping, probably trained 6 days a week, probably had a perfect macro-calculated diet, probably took exactly the right supplements at exactly the right times. What he didn't know, what Melissa had never told him, was that I'd spent 12 years in Special Forces, 75th Ranger Regiment first, then Delta Force Selection, 8 years active duty in places that didn't officially exist, 4 years contract work after that doing things I still couldn't talk about under penalty of federal law. 5 seconds? I asked, voice calm, level, no emotion. Try 3. He grinned, confident, cocky, stupid. "I'll have you on the ground crying in 3 seconds flat, old man." He charged, telegraphed it, shoulder dropped, weight forward, right arm coming around for a haymaker punch. Textbook mistake, the kind they teach you to exploit in week 1 of combatives training. I sidestepped, simple, efficient, grabbed his extended right arm with both hands, left hand on his wrist, right hand on his elbow, used his forward momentum against him, pushed his arm across his body, pulled his wrist down and toward me. Basic jujitsu, the kind they drill into you until it's pure muscle memory. One smooth motion, and Tyler was face down on the rubber gym floor. Happened so fast he didn't have time to react, didn't have time to catch himself. My right knee pressed into his spine between his shoulder blades, my forearm across the back of his neck, not choking him, not yet, just controlling. My left hand had his right arm twisted behind his back, shoulder joint at the edge of dislocation. Any resistance and it would pop. All his strength, all his muscle, all his training, completely useless in this position. "Can't breathe," he gasped, face pressed against the black rubber mat, turning red. "That's the point," I said quietly, calmly. "Now listen very carefully, Tyler. Don't interrupt. Don't struggle. Just listen." The crowd pressed closer. 30 people now. Every phone recording. This would be on YouTube in minutes. TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. "You thought my wife was single?" I applied a little more pressure. Not much. Just enough to make breathing harder. "She's been wearing her wedding ring every single day you've been sleeping with her. 7 years. That's how long we've been married. 7 years this past September." Tyler's face went from red to purple. He clawed at the floor with his free hand, trying to push up, trying to get leverage, couldn't move. I had his center of gravity, had his balance, had everything that mattered. I know about the coffee shop dates at Stella's on Colfax. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning, you get her the caramel macchiato, she gets you the protein shake. Very romantic. His eyes went wide. Shocked, I knew. I know about the hotel in Cherry Creek, the Hyatt, room 347. You always request the same room. King bed, city view, very consistent. Wider eyes, more panic. I know about the texts at 2 in the morning when you think I'm asleep. The phone calls at lunch when I'm on site. The weekend training sessions that aren't training at all. I pulled out my phone with my free hand, showed the screen to the crowd, scrolled through photos with my thumb, let them see everything. Photos of Tyler and Melissa, leaving the hotel together, him with his arm around her, kissing in his car parked behind the gym, holding hands at a restaurant downtown, time stamps on everything, dates, locations, GPS coordinates, all documented. I hired a private investigator 3 weeks ago, I continued, voice still calm, still controlled. Retired retired special forces buddy of mine, guy I served with in Afghanistan. Very thorough, very discreet, very good at his job. He got everything. Tyler tried to speak. Couldn't get enough air. Just wheezing, gasping, making sounds. The thing about guys like you, I said, voice never rising above conversational level, is you think muscles equal strength. You think size matters. You've never been in a real fight. Never had someone trained to kill put you down in 3 seconds. You've spent your whole life in gyms, lifting weights, looking at yourself in mirrors. I've spent 12 years in 12 different countries doing things I still can't talk about. I shifted my weight slightly, pressed down a little harder. Tyler's wheezing got worse, more desperate. Let him go, someone in the crowd yelled. Woman's voice, scared. You're going to kill him. In a minute, I said, looking up at all the phones, at all the faces, at all the witnesses. Everyone recording? Good. You're all witnesses to what I'm about to say. Keep those cameras on. I leaned closer to Tyler's ear, whispered, quiet enough that only he could hear. Words just for him. I could collapse your trachea right now. Rear naked choke variation. Brain damage in 90 seconds from oxygen deprivation. Permanent damage in 2 minutes. You'd never train again, never work again. Hell, you'd never breathe the same. You'd spend the rest of your life with a rasp, with scars, every single breath a reminder of this moment. His eyes went wide with pure terror, real fear. Probably the first time in his privileged life, but I'm not going to do that, I said louder. For the crowd, for the cameras. Because I'm not a criminal. I'm not a thug. I'm just a husband having a conversation with the man who's been sleeping with my wife. I released the pressure on his neck slightly, just enough. Let him suck in a desperate, ragged, wheezing breath. Your turn to talk, Tyler. Tell everyone here what you've been doing with Melissa Rodriguez, my wife. Tell them about the hotel, the dates, the plans you've been making. Tell them. He couldn't speak, just gasped and coughed and choked on air. Drool coming out of his mouth onto the mat. No? Can't find the words? Let me help you then. I pulled out folded papers from my back pocket. Printed emails, printed texts, all of it. Held them up to the cameras. Let everyone see. Let them zoom in. This is a text from Tyler to my wife. 2 days ago, December 18th, 11:47 p.m. It says, and I quote, "Your husband's a fucking joke. I could take him with one hand tied behind my back. Why are you still with him? Leave him. Come with me to California. I've got that gym opportunity in San Diego." The crowd murmured, whispers spreading, shocked faces. Someone said, "What the fuck?" Another one from last week. December 12th, 2:34 a.m. "He's too old for you anyway. You're only 32. You're in your prime. You need a real man. Someone who can keep up with you in every way. You know what I mean?" More whispers, more shock. December 9th. "Does he even touch you anymore? Because I will. Every single day. Multiple times. You deserve that." I scrolled through more messages on my phone, each one more damning than the last. Each one destroying Tyler's image more completely. December 6th. "Random question, but how much is his life insurance policy worth? Just curious. You've mentioned before he has one through his company." Loud gasps from the crowd. Actual gasps. Someone said, "Oh my God." Another person said, "Call the police." December 3rd. "Construction accidents happen all the time. Guys fall off buildings, get hit by equipment. No one would suspect anything." The crowd went completely silent. Shock, horror, understanding what this meant. Tyler was shaking now, trembling, not from the position, not from lack of air, from fear, from realization, from understanding that I knew everything, that I'd documented everything, that his life was over. "The police are outside right now," I said calmly, matter of fact. "I called them 15 minutes ago before I walked in, gave them copies of everything, every text, every photo, every receipt. They're in the parking lot reviewing it all with my lawyer. Discussing conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, discussing conspiracy to commit murder, right on cue, like I'd scripted it perfectly. 2 Denver police officers pushed through the crowd, uniforms, badges, hands on their belts, body cameras on. "Mr. Rodriguez?" one of them said. Older guy, maybe 50, gray hair, sergeant stripes, professional. "We need to ask Mr. Coleman some questions about conspiracy to commit fraud, and criminal threats, and solicitation." I finally released Tyler. Stood up, stepped back, stretched my back, popped my neck. He collapsed completely on the floor, gasping, crying, face still purple, drool and tears on the rubber mat, shaking. The officers pulled him up, one on each arm, professional, firm, started reading him his rights. "You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law." Melissa appeared in the gym doorway, must have been in the parking lot, watching through the window, waiting. Her face went completely white when she saw Tyler in handcuffs, when she saw the crowd, when she saw all the phones recording. "Richard, what did you do?" Her voice, shaking, scared, guilty. I walked past her, didn't look at her, picked up my boots, sat on the bench, started putting them on, tying them carefully, taking my time. She grabbed my arm. "Richard, please, this isn't what it looks like. I can explain. Don't touch me." I pulled my arm away, stood up, faced her. "You've been sleeping with him for 4 months since August. I know everything." We didn't. Room 347, Hyatt Cherry Creek, every Monday and Wednesday afternoon.